Hello and welcome to Archangel Stories. Today we'll be reading Trapped in a Grimdark World with the Power of Toon-Force. Part 1. The last day of my life started like all the rest, with cartoons. As soon as I woke up, I was watching something. No, I'm not a kid. Rude. And this isn't a sad story about infant mortality. I was an animator, and it was my whole life, my love and my passion. I lived and breathed cartoons. Well, I still lived and breathed, anyway. I was working on a big project, recreating a classic cartoon series with a legally distinct spinach-powered sailor guy main character for the modern day. Or, as we called it, Poppy the Submariner Guy. I was rewatching old episodes during my morning routine when I got a call from one of my big bosses. "Hello," I answered, already knowing full well who it was. Ain't caller ID amazing? "Is this Emile Cole?" "Yeah," I said, because that's my name. Don't wear it out. "It's Mike Nanem, from the office. I worked a few floors up," he said, as if we hadn't met before. In truth, he probably didn't remember me, but we'd met at least twice before at work, and each time he reintroduced himself to me. I couldn't blame him. I always tried not to stick out to the top brass in case they did something stupid, so I wouldn't get picked or blamed. I liked my job and didn't want a promotion or to be thrown under the bus by corporate politics. So whenever a bigwig came by, I suddenly had something else to do somewhere else. "Hey, Mike, what's up?" While we talked, I slid my lunch for the day into my backpack with my laptop and sketchpad. "Look, I've been calling all the animators for the Poppy project. It got cancelled. I'm sorry. Funding got cut, and until we can sort it out, we're laying people off. If we can get everyone up here and running again, I'll call you back, and I hope you'll rejoin the team. We just can't afford to keep you on. I know this probably comes as a shock, and I want you to know that this is wah 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 wah," he said, but to me his voice started to trail off. This was my dream job, and I'd worked years to get it. Sure, there were other jobs in the field and other companies, but this one was special to me. This was the company that produced the first cartoon I'd ever watched, the one that made me fall in love with the medium, that changed my life. Yes, I could get another job, but it wouldn't be here. I knew he was lying about sorting out the finances. It was just corporate jargon to soften the blow. "I'm fired?" I suddenly asked. "Yeah, Emil. I'm sorry. You should start looking for other work, but if you need a reference or help updating your resume, let me know. I'd be happy to do whatever I can." After that, he gave me his email address and said I could contact him whenever he needed. When he hung up, I was left standing there in a daze, backpack still in hand. All my dreams weren't crumbling around me, but this one was. With a sigh, I put my things away and sat down in my chair in front of my TV. "Well, what now?" I asked no one, and only the echo on the wall answered. Unfortunately, they were echoes, so they didn't say anything I hadn't heard before. A while passed before I pulled myself out of the chair and did the only thing I could think to do, go on a walk and listen to cartoons. I put on some classic Riverboat William to listen to on the walk. I didn't need to watch it since I'd seen it so many times. I knew it was happening by the sound alone. This gave me time to think about what I would do next. If I can't work for Flystar Studios, then what? Maybe Walt Gimme Studios? Or Warner Sisters? But all they ever do now are live-action remakes and sequels, and nobody likes those, I mumbled. As the cartoon's music played in my earbuds, I started going down the road, letting my eyes wander around. Making my own studio would be impossible. The money alone would be tough, but who has those kinds of contacts? Where would I even start? About that time, something just off the sidewalk caught my eye. It was a door. There were no frames or posts holding it, yet there it stood, upright and straight as an arrow. But it was the strangest thing. It had never been there before. I'd passed this road more times than I could count on my drive to work, and there had never been so much as a house, let alone a random door. I got closer, despite what every horror movie has ever warned me against. It seemed normal. There was nothing on it, behind it, or around it that shouldn't have been. Weird modern art, but symbolism has always been a bit too deep for me, I said, and started walking away. That was, until I heard a light knock on the door. I'll admit, I stopped in my tracks for a second, then turned to look at the door, shaking my head and yelling, "Nope!" at the top of my lungs. I ran away, and I mean I booked it. I must have ran for a full minute before I even turned my head to check if I was far enough away. By then the door was out of sight, and soon as I had started to slow down and look where I was going, I ran face first into the door, which had impossibly moved, and got knocked to the ground. As I lay there with a broken nose, clenching my blood-covered face, there was another, harder knock at the door. This time it shook on its non-existent hinges. "I'm going to die," I said in horror. "You're not going to die, just open the door," an annoyed voice called out. "No way. I've read 'do not open the door.' I know what happens if I do. You'll eat my soul or something," I yelled and started scooting back. The door remained stationary, ominously sat somewhere it should not have been. "I'm not going to eat your soul, good sir," the voice claimed. "That's exactly what someone who is about to eat my soul might say," I countered, standing up and running away again. This time the door was in front of me the moment I looked away from it. When I looked back, it had disappeared from its previous location. "While I cannot refute that, I do assure you of its illegitimacy," it said. "Who are you? What are you? An eldritch horror? No. A demon? Not in the slightest. A vampire? Well, now you're just reaching," the voice said, sounding exasperated. "I'm quite a normal fellow who is unfortunately trapped behind a door. Now, if you please." "Who trapped you? How?" I asked, trying to figure out how to escape alive. Looking round, no one was nearby, meaning I was alone with a talking eldritch demon vampire door. "I created the door, but I cannot let myself through it. Someone from the other side must let me in." "Aha!" I said. "A vampire." "No, there's just no door handle on this side. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. It depends." "Well, who are you then?" I asked. At some point, after giving up on running, my hands had balled up and gotten in front of my face, which was weird because I've never hit another person ever, except during childhood. "My name is Foxley, Aesop Foxley, and I am a world traveler," the voice said. "Yeah, so was my Uncle Steve until that trip to Tanzania when he lost his foot, but he didn't have no magic door." "No, sir, I am a world traveler, not a traveler of one world, but of all of them. And this door is how I do so. Unfortunately, it seems your world lacks soul powers, so there is no doorknob on this end, meaning I need you to open it. Post haste, please. It is rather muggy on this side, and I'm fearing it will rain." "What do you plan to do if I let you into my world?" I asked, still afraid, but now a bit curious. "See the sights, eat some local cuisine, perhaps do some dancing, if you have that. Maybe I'll even meet someone special to keep me company while I'm there. My intents are not nefarious. I do simply wish to see your world." "Can you prove it?" I asked. "I can only give you my word, sir. I am not an evil man. I am a bit of an oaf at times, and perhaps thick, but never evil." Foxley chuckled. I thought for a moment, and then another. "Are you still there?" he called out. I would so die in a horror movie, I thought, and reached for the knob. Turning it, there was a bright flash, which blinded me for a moment. Blinking the stars away, I looked around, and I had moved. Now I was standing in a forest. "What is this?" I asked, shouting. The door had changed too. Now it was a mirror image of itself. This was the other side of the door. "You! What happened?" "I switched us," Foxley said. "Why?" I yelled. "In order to keep the balance of the worlds. If things get too out of balance, who knows what may happen," he said. "You liar!" "Quite right. Truthfully, that is just how the ability works. I have to switch places with whomever opens the door. This is why I always feel so disheartened when I go to worlds like this." "What are you going to do in my world?" I cried out, thinking of my family and friends. "I told you. I'm going to dance, and eat some delicious meals, and take a look around. I did not lie about that. I simply excluded this part," he said. "You con man." "Quite right. he replied. But what about my family? I asked. Will I get to see them again? I would be happy to take them a message on your behalf. I'm going to kill you. I kicked the door, but wasn't even able to budge it an inch. Not from that side, you're not. At that moment, the door began to fade away, like it was becoming invisible. Oh, it seems the power is fading away. Good luck over there, chap. The world is a bit grim and dreadfully dark. Farewell. You son of a... I slammed myself into the wooden door as hard as I could, and did so again and again until the door itself became intangible, and my body passed straight through it, landing on my shoulder. I rolled to my back and stared into the dark, starry night. Countless stars filled the sky, so much so that it looked like an ocean of twinkling lights, and the brightest of these lights were the floating rings that circled on the horizon, and the lumpy, misshapen moon hanging above. Dark gray clouds moved and swirled above, blocking the stars directly above me. And then, perhaps by divine intervention, or misfortune, or simply the universe's ironic sense of humor, it started to rain.